Good evening, everyone. I'm going to call to order the regular meeting of the Simsbury Planning Commission. Today is Tuesday, September 26th, 2017. I'd like to thank SCTV for recording this meeting. If everyone would please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Bill, are there extra packets? Are there just the minutes? I don't have one. Now, we'll write it. Thank you.
Yeah,
Oh,
send the both of us, I think we...
okay, perfect. Thank you.
All right, now I'll take the roll call. Holly Bem,
Here.
Robert Kolakowski, Aaron Levitt-Smith,
Here.
Ron Locandro, absent Alan Needham, here. William Rice, present. Elizabeth Burt,
Here.
Mark Drake, absent. Gary Lungarini.
Here.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But we have 5 regular members, which opens up a opportunity for an alternate to be promoted to a full member for this meeting. And we just look back. And Gary, it looks like it's your turn to be seated.
Sure, love you.
Okay? So Gary will be seated as a regular member for tonight's meeting. Elizabeth, you will be shown as present. Okay. Next item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes of the September 7th special meeting. So, Bob, can you run through that, please?
Okay, September 7th, special meeting minutes. Any changes or additions to page 1? Additions or changes to page 2? I'll entertain a motion to accept the minutes.
I so move. I second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Abstain? Thank you.
Good. All right, so at this point, we will continue our public hearing on the proposed 2007 Plan of Conservation and Development. This is a continuance from the September 7th, 2017 special meeting. The statutory time of review of 65 days had not expired as of the last meeting, so we decided to keep it open. There was a development. We had some comments from the Water Pollution Control Authority. And if you look, there is, I don't know if the actual letter is included in the packet.
We did not include the letter in the packet, Mr. Chairman. The comments associated with that letter have been included in the draft revisions.
The essence of the comments were statutory in nature, where the Water Pollution Control Authority explained that they have jurisdiction over certain items that we put in the to-do list as opposed to the town. You remember how we have the list of who's responsible and who's a partner, so we flip-flopped a couple of those. Okay, we also took into consideration the inclusion of private sewers in one of the areas where we talked about septic systems and sewers. Apparently there are some private sewers in town already.
Really?
Yeah.
So, Mr. Chairman, the primary changes occur on page 116 under the address utility infrastructure and needs, as well as page 117. There's some changes associated with sewer allocation approach, as well as the addition of a paragraph associated with their, we'll call it the evolution of that allocation and the potential for a review and revision to the protocols and policies associated with that allocation, as well as some recommendations on page 120 as you've alluded to with regards to roles and responsibilities and which agency or entity is charged with water pollution control.
So there's a kind of a short version of the affected pages of the proposed POCD. Also includes some changes that we agreed to include based on some comments made by the public at the September 7th meeting related to the term that we use on the Farmington Valley Trail. So we created, or we revised the document to have the actual name, which is Farmington Canal Heritage Trail. So in the small packet, you can see it's redlined with all the changes. Mr. Abbott, I think it's safe to say that the comments submitted by the Water Pollution Control Authority were pertinent and accurate. I think we accepted all of them,
Yes.
right? Okay, is there anyone, this is a public hearing, and if there's anyone in the audience that wishes to speak to the proposed plan of conservation and development, now would be a good time to do it. Okay, seeing none. Any other comments that staff would like to make about the proposed POCD?
Just for clarity, Mr. Chairman, we did receive correspondence from the First Selectman's Office regarding their endorsement of the plan. At their meeting on September 12, 2017, the Board of Selectmen voted to unanimously recommend the adoption of the draft 2017 Town of Simsbury Plan of Conservation and Development. And they wanted to extend the Board of Selectmen's thanks to staff, Glenn Chalder, as well as the Planning Commission for their excellent work on the revision. And that letter was dated September 12th.
Okay.
That
Jamie,
fulfills
you wanna-
another statutory obligation.
Yeah. So you and I have been crafting an acknowledgement page,
Yes.
okay? Do we have a proposed effective date?
November 1st, Mr. Chairman.
November 1st.
It was October 9th.
That may have been a target at one time, but I think,
There, just for clarity on those dates, that there's an adoption date by the commission and an effective date.
Okay, thank you.
Now, you are required by statute to set an effective date, but they count the 10 years from your adoption date. So your plan would, if you make a decision this evening, you're adopting the POCD on September 26, 2017, with a recommended effective date of November 1st, 2017.
And that
November
would not-
1st, 2017 gives us adequate time to do our legal notices and also get copies to the Office of Policy and Management as required by statute.
And we would be in compliance, we would not have an
You would
expired
be in
POC.
compliance, your plan would not have expired.
Okay, thank you.
Which I think is a credit to all the members present and for those who participated who aren't here this evening.
Commissioners, any further comments on the proposed 2017 Simsbury POCD?
Can we make comments or do we have to close the hearing first?
Mr. You can continue to we'll back up for a minute. Hearing no additional comments from the public, and there are only 2 members here this evening, it would be staff's recommendation to close the hearing, with the understanding that if you close the hearing, you cannot seek any additional comments from the public. You always have access to staff, being your planning staff, engineering staff, or legal.
Okay.
Motion.
Please.
I'd like to move that we close the public hearing.
I'll second that motion.
We have a motion to close the public hearing for discussion on the proposed 2017 Simsbury POCD. All in favor to close the public hearing, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Any abstentions? Motion passes unanimously. The public hearing is closed. Okay, so now we have an opportunity to deliberate. Now I'll ask, Comments? Commissioners, any comments?
Yeah, just with the sewer. I'm curious as to why he came in at such a late date. And I'm assuming, or maybe Jamie, I can ask you, I mean, we've had how many public hearings? We've had it, and at the last minute, I mean, this is a lot. I'm assuming this is okay. But I mean, we don't have any time to kind of vet this, I guess is my concern.
Mr. Chairman, in response to the question, we had an opportunity to talk to Tom Roy, who is the Director of Public Works, which Water Pollution Control Authority is also under that department. They act in some manners as an independent board who's charged with water pollution control or the handling of effluent from the community, as well as operating the plant, controlling flow as well as hookups, and the future expansion and maintenance and upgrade to that plant. They are a volunteer board. They meet on a certain schedule and timing between your public hearing, meeting schedules, and volunteers' ability to respond may have led to a slight lag in that response. We did have, as I mentioned, I had an opportunity to talk to Tom Roy. We discussed the material changes that were recommended. We, as your staff, had found no issues with those. They're, we'll say, administrative in nature and clarifying a process. They're not necessarily substantive with regards to the future direction of the community or your land use goals and objectives. They're really well thought out comments with regards to qualifying certain positions that the WPCA plays and what pertinent role they have in the development within the community. Again, we did not find any fault with the comments, and given that discussion as well as my review of the letter from the chairman of WPCA, I authorized Mr. Chalder to roll those comments into the appropriate areas within the plan.
Thank you for the clarification of the delay, and thank you.
And again, I drew your attention earlier to pages 116, 117, and 120, and although there's a long letter that precedes the lead up to the proposed recommended changes, the changes were very minor in nature, and again, welcome from staff. All with the goal and objective to make this a better plan.
Yeah, we probably could have done a little better job of sharing the information. I saw it, okay, the letter was from the WPCA, was addressed to me. And I didn't have enough foresight to distribute it, and I don't think it was part of the packet either, right? Or, actually, the revised pages were part of our meeting packet.
Yes.
But not the WPCA's original letter.
Yeah, but with the summer, and Jamie explains why we might not have that. Yeah.
This is a heads up.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just wanted to be sure that when we were,
Yeah, I don't think there's any
it doesn't look that way
intent
to
to,
me.
to catch us off guard or anything
No.
like that.
I just wanted to be sure that it was vetted, I guess, in a different way, so, all right, I feel.
And again, similar to our procedures too, the WPCA has staff. Staff has to be responsive to the board they work for. So although staff was fully prepared to issue a comments, that had to go through the board. And again, that is beholding to a meeting schedule.
Right.
On occasion, Mr. Rice, we are well aware of this, that Mike or I, as your staff, would be more than willing to author or assist in a letter that needs to be crafted, but it really requires commission action.
Yeah.
And in your case, you meet every 2 weeks for most of the year, so the lag is less when a commission meets every month or in a less timely manner. You're extremely responsive by meeting every 2 weeks.
Good comment, Aaron, thank you. Anybody else?
I think Glenn did a good job, as usual, of interpreting all the requests we heard at the public hearing and incorporating them into this final petition.
Good. I agree. Okay, no other comments, and I'll move that the Simsbury Planning Commission adopt the POCD as of today, September 2016, or I'm sorry, September 26, 2017. That will be the 2017 Simsbury Plan of Conservation and Development with a recommended effectiveness date of November 1st, 2017.
I'll second that. Good enough?
Mr. Chairman, just for clarity, we were recommending an effective date.
Oh.
We're actually setting an effective
We will
date.
set the effective date for November 1st.
Thank you.
That, everyone okay with the amended motion? Yes. Any discussion?
No, I just have, when, I'm just curious when we'll each get our shiny new cup.
It had a date yet to be determined.
Okay.
Hopefully
But,
before November 1st.
Yes.
Glenn assured us that he would work with Jamie to have the official copies produced.
And I just want to second Holly's notion. I think I mentioned it at the last public hearing, but it was a pleasure working with Glenn Shelder, and he was extremely thorough, extremely professional, and not once did I ever feel he ever got defensive and listened to everybody's comments and made everyone feel like they were heard. And I think that's a real skill and a real testament to his work with us. So I just want to publicly thank him again.
So we have a motion to adopt. It's been seconded. No further discussion. All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, motion passes unanimously.
Can I make a comment?
Please do.
The last POCD in 2007 had 2 negative votes on the plan. So I'd like to say good process, gives you good results, and it's a pleasure to see that we all feel that this is the right thing.
Yeah.
And it's a much better way to start.
Well, we had a good, better foundation than they had. So we got to benefit from all their labor, too.
Mr. Chairman, again, just for, as a process from here, we have to send copies to the Office of Policy and Management. As Erin had mentioned this evening, we will be working with Glenn on just how shiny the final copy is. We have some ideas about what we would like as a final product. It will be more than a plastic, hopefully a plastic spiral bound copy, that it will either be bound or have the metal wired line. So it'll look more like a book and a very professional document. I think you're worthy of it as a commission, and the community is worthy of that. A lot of effort and time went into this, both at commission meetings, and in order to be prepared at those commission members, you had to read a lot offline too, as well as staff. And again, I commend you on your efforts and all of the homework you did to be productive when we came into those workshops and be responsive to the community when they did have questions. Again, a lot of kudos go to you, not just Glenn.
We started on September 16th last year, I think, and from the beginning, I tried to make it very clear that we were going to adhere to the schedule. And a couple times, we only had to maybe have a couple special meetings or something, but it all became, it was all fruitful, and here we are with an adopted POCD. So congratulations to everyone here. Great job.
Let's
Nice job.
not be afraid to take a look at it in a few years and see if it needs
Well,
to be modified.
You know, we have in here a suggestion to review certain
Yeah.
sections every year. So that's another little feature. Very good, okay. Moving on to new business. Receipt of new applications, we have none, but we do have a referral from the zoning commission on zoning commission application number 17-42 of Matthew Erdman and John Alubicki, Keller Williams, Farmington Valley agents, for a text amendment to Article 10, Section C.1.b of the Town of Simsbury zoning regulations regarding real estate signage. Okay, so everyone has the proposed text amendment. Do we have a representative who would like to present that, or?
Again, Mr. Chairman, it is a referral under statute from the zoning commission to the planning commission for your review and perusal as it relates to consistency with the plan of conservation and development, which is still your 2007 plan,
Yeah.
because your plan does not become effective until November 1st. If you delayed any action on this and that plan became effective before you made a final decision, that would be the plan you're referring to.
Okay, so our discussion has to focus around the 2007 POCD. Okay, maybe just a brief discussion on the text amendment. This refers to real estate signs.
Yep. Presently, under the existing zoning code, for practical purposes, you are allowed one real estate sign at the property, and there are limitations associated on off-site signage. The proposed text amendment is attempting to modify that to allow additional off-site signage. The difficulty is there is some case law out there with regards to Reed versus the City of Gilbert, Arizona, which is a U.S. Supreme Court case on your ability to regulate free speech in various zones throughout a community. I don't want to get into that this evening, but I need to be conscientious and make you aware that there is a Supreme Court decision that in essence says, be very careful how you regulate signs in residential zones, because what may be good for one particular use may be just as good for another particular use. So if you say a realtor can have extra signs, you may also be saying others can have extra signs under the Gilbert case. Excuse me. So again, we're cautioning you on this. With regards to the 207 plan, that plan does reference in community guidelines associated with design, and those reference limitations on signs in maintaining community character. Some could view the present zoning policy as limiting, and others may view it as appropriate for residential properties that on a given day are not, there isn't a profusion of real estate signs. There are other communities in Connecticut who don't even allow advertisement on the real estate signs. We're allowed to only say broker and a phone number, or for sale by broker, which identifies that the property is for sale. Now you have to go and do your due diligence on finding who has the listing. There are a multitude of opportunities with Zillow and Hoser and other online avenues to determine what properties are for sale and where they are.
Yeah, I don't think it's our place to write the regulation. It's our job to try to point to areas in the POCD that either support or don't support, or are consistent or not consistent with the proposed text amendment.
Again, there is no real time constraint on this. If you're not comfortable making a decision this evening, one little more time to look at the POCD, we have enough time to easily table this until your next regularly scheduled meeting.
I would like to suggest that, I don't have it in front of me, and I found verbiage cogent, but I wouldn't have specific passages to say yea or nay to. So I would like to suggest that,
No.
I agree. Maybe we could have at least one more meeting to review the existing POCD.
As Mike just reminded me, the zoning commission did not schedule a hearing until November 20th.
Right.
So
Can I ask
again,
just
you have adequate time.
Can I ask just a
deal with
detailed
this.
question? Okay, so we allow 6 square feet on one sign, is that correct now?
Yes.
This would allow 2 of those, plus something off-site.
That's the
And
proposal.
off-site I take it to be maybe at the end of your road, an arrow that says open house, something like that could.
You could make
apply.
that assumption, but if there were 3 houses for sale on the same street, that's 9 signs
Yep.
or
So
more.
I don't want to get into the Supreme Court discussion either, but, so we're allowing for one property, 3 signs,
That's the
up
proposal.
to.
Only
Would
if
that be
there's two
limiting
streets.
for any other person putting up signs to 3 signs? Or would they then, because they say you're allowed more than 1 sign, I am too, for whatever purpose I have?
That would be the issue associated with Reed versus Gilbert.
Okay, but would this other entity be limited to 3 signs as well?
Under our present regulations, there are other limiting factors.
Okay,
So
so
that
this
they-
would not apply to political messages, because that's free speech and you can,
Another discussion for another day.
I got it.
So the regulation, Alan, is, one that's being discussed is specifically for real estate signs. But, yeah, I can imagine if the disposition on this could have implications on other aspects.
Yeah. Prior to Reed versus the City of Gilbert, there would be no potential ramifications of modifying your sign code. Post that Supreme Court decision. We've just been cautioned to be careful with regards to compliance with the intent and decision associated with that Supreme Court case. Again, not from Connecticut, comes out of Arizona, but when there is a case tried in Connecticut, and if it is going to result in signage and potentially a limitation, they are immediately going to go to Reed versus City of Gilbert.
Alan, I want to point out, it's not saying unequivocally 3 signs. 3 signs when there are 2 different street-facing parts of the property faces 2 different streets, 1 per street, and potentially. Now, I happen to notice that we kind of do that anyway. I mean, when there's an open house for sale, that's what I see.
Those are sandwich boards
have been
usually.
people not in compliance?
One of the issues is you, is a matter of fairness, that you have a number of realtors who are following and or playing by the rules, and you have other realtors who don't always adhere to the rules. So instead of asking all realtors to adhere, someone is proposing to just relax the regulation. A simple explanation is if the rule is fairly clear, we would appreciate your cooperation in following that rule. That was established by the zoning commission.
Right, so
Mike
yes.
Glidden and Jamie Rabbit didn't establish this rule, nor did any other staff member. It was done by a zoning commission who has that authority given to them under statute. So, again, this is a proposed change before you, and Mr. Rice is absolutely correct as the chair to say you need to focus more on consistency with the language contained in the POCD. I'll say a little less maybe perhaps about the number, the quantity, and the aesthetics, except as it relates back to the POCD.
So is it the commission's pleasure to kind of table this until the next meeting, so we have a little time to digest the proposed text amendment and compare it to the 2007 POCD?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's table this until the next meeting, which is going to be October 10th?
It is March is starting.
October 10th. So I just ask everyone to take, a little bit extra time to go ahead and do the comparison or the analysis. Okay. I want to add something to the agenda. I think this, I'm going to put it here because it shouldn't take us too long. In the September 7th meeting, we distributed the 2018 meeting, proposed meeting schedule. So I'd like to amend the agenda to include a review and potential adoption of the 2018 Planning Commission meeting agenda.
I'll move that.
I think I did.
You moved it?
Yeah.
I'll second it.
Okay. Any discussion? All in favor of adding the agenda item, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay,
Mr. Chairman, under that subject matter, we also have the insertion of another item, release of conservation easement 120 East Wheaton Street. We received correspondence on that matter.
let's take up the calendar first,
Okay.
okay? So does everyone have the meeting schedule? Okay, so I went through, I checked, yes, each day is the second Tuesday and the fourth Tuesday of the month. No regular meetings scheduled for August. Just two questions. In October, the 9th follows the 8th, which is Columbus Day. It is-
In September, too.
Yes, specifically in October. The 8th is
One in
Columbus
every
Day.
crowd.
Is that a town holiday?
It is not an official town holiday.
Okay, so we will conduct business that week.
Yet we usually, it is a holiday for most staff members who have school-aged children. So we are light in the office
On the 8th.
on the Friday preceding and that Monday also, because it's a long weekend.
Tuesday is okay. Tuesday the 9th.
We
Okay.
can always cancel giving matters pending before you.
Yeah. Similarly, in November, the first Tuesday, which is the 13th, follows Veterans Day. I remember at some point, there was a holiday on a Monday. It was a town-recognized holiday, and all the meetings for that week were canceled or something. But that's not the case
That
here?
occasionally occurs, given the nature of the week and the schedule. Again, it could be our recommendation that as we get closer, you can always cancel a meeting based on workload.
Okay, but not based on
There is
holiday
no written
schedule for
policy
them. Okay,
with
Some
regards to
other
that.
than you go cancel it.
okay.
This has been checked for religious holidays and all.
Chairman, I move that we adopt to that proposed 2018 proposed meeting dates.
Second.
So we have a motion by Holly, second by Aaron. Any discussion? All in favor of adopting the proposed planning commission meeting dates for 2018, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries unanimously. Very good. Okay. Okay, Mr. Rabbit, you had a potential other addition to the agenda?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, we did receive correspondence associated with 120 East Weetog Street, which was part of an earlier subdivision that was before you years ago. We have a letter dated September 8, 2017 from Chip Canero regarding a release of easement, and we would like you to add that to your agenda tonight, which you can do by a 3/4 vote of the commission. And we have copies of the letter.
All right, so this one just arrived in our package, okay?
Is there any reason it wasn't in our Dropbox?
I do not have an answer for that, Holly, sorry.
I move that we amend the agenda to include the previously stated item.
Second.
So Bob made motion to amend the agenda, Aaron seconded it. Okay, any discussion? Okay, personally, I'm not going to vote for adding it to the agenda. This is too much information, too quick for me to absorb. And specifically, where's 120 East Weetog Street? Is that Tanager Hill? Okay, this has been a somewhat controversial application from the beginning. And to insert an item like this at the start of the meeting, I believe is inappropriate. there was insufficient time for the public to be made aware of this, this application. I don't know, is it an application or just a request?
It's not an application, it's within your purview, given the original approval for the applicant to come back to the commission to request that the language associated with the conservation is removed based on a land transaction for open space to a land trust. And that was in the original approval. I understand where Mr. Rice is coming from. I don't think there's anything critical with regards to a 2-week delay. Staff has reviewed it. We have been in contact with town council on that, and your staff is comfortable with you acting in a favorable manner this evening. But again, I absolutely understand and respect your decision potentially to table this until your October 10th meeting. What I would do is, if your intent is to table, if you have any quick or simple questions tonight that we could try and clarify for you, so we're not in a similar scenario 2 weeks from now.
So it's largely administrative.
It's largely administrative, but staff can't authorize it. Only the commission can.
Where's Bill, so you know about this, obviously.
Are we going to add this to the agenda? So
We have a
can talk
motion
about
on
it?
the table,
I'm sorry.
okay? The motion is to add the agenda item. It's been seconded. So I gave you my discussion. Any other discussion? Okay, all in favor of adding the agenda item, please say aye.
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 Okay, please raise your hand. Aaron, Bob, and Holly. All not in favor, please say nay. Nay. So we have a 3-3.
So the motion failed.
Motion
Fails,
fails.
Mr. Chairman.
Okay, we're just gonna need a little more time to get a hand on this. So please add it to the agenda for the next meeting. Okay, next item under general commission business. 18 Shingle Mill Road, West Simsbury. Request for a clarification of the term durable all-weather surface, which I believe was on the plans for the original subdivision.
Correct, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, so I think I'm going to make a suggestion that we have our town engineer take a look at this. Maybe he'll be in a better position to make a definition of what a durable all-weather surface may be. I think we're going to need some input. Unless there's some information that can be shared now.
No, Mr. Chairman, I would agree with your recommendation to seek counsel from the town engineer also in doing that. I'm sure Jeff Shea, who is Simsbury's town engineer, may also refer to the former full-time town engineer with regards to any historic nomenclature associated with the terminology of durable all-weather surface. And, you know, the term to some seems simple. To some it's pavement, to others it's something other than pavement. If you expand the conversation, it may be something other than pavement given a certain circumstance associated with watershed or slope of the driveway. So there's a host of information associated with the final answer, and I do not have that for you this evening.
So he can just write us a letter, I mean, we don't have to drag him in.
My potential suggestion is for him to review it, to write a letter to you if Mr. Shea feels sometimes you can say something in 5 minutes that takes you 10 hours to craft. With regards to a letter, I will, if it's okay with you, leave the option of his attendance in case there is a question, so you can perhaps bring some finality to this on your October 10th meeting versus delaying another 2 weeks to get additional information from Mr. Shea. That may be the only benefit to having Mr. Shea here is if there is a question, he may have an answer that evening.
Okay, everyone okay with tabling this to the next meeting?
Yes.
Okay, so I'll move that we take this agenda item and get some input from the town engineer with an expected statement or report or even presentation, his presence at the October 10th meeting. Okay, second.
Second.
All in favor of tabling that item, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries unanimously. Okay. Any staff comments or additions?
I think it was Happy Pancake Day.
Happy Pancake Day?
Today?
Today?
Mr. Chairman, we have nothing new to add to the agenda tonight, again, other than our sediments. I can't say it enough, the work you did in a year's time frame to pull the POC together with the assistance of staff and the consultant. Again, give yourselves a pat on the back.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for helping and bringing us a good consultant.
I look forward to preparing the 2027. And Mike can do the 2037. Let me know how that goes.
I move to adjourn.
I second.
So Gary moved to adjourn the meeting and Aaron seconded the motion. All in favor of adjourning the meeting, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
Funding for Simsbury Community Television is provided in part by contributions from viewers like you. Thank you.